हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम टू एग्जाम वर्ड। और एक बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक है जो कि सिलेबस में था, काफ़ी बच्चे वीडियो भी मांग रहे थे इस पर, तो उसका वीडियो आज आ गया है। मॉडर्न इंडिया हिस्टोरियोग्राफी, ठीक है। CUET 3 साल से हाँ 2 साल से पेपर ले रहा है, ठीक है। इस साल तीसरा साल है CUET का। और मॉडर्न इंडिया हिस्टोरियोग्राफी से स्पेसिफिकली कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं आया CUET में। जब DUET होता था तो DU में एग्जाम आते थे हिस्टोरियोग्राफी से, ठीक है। और JNU EE में भी हिस्टोरियोग्राफी से नहीं बट हिस्टोरियन से क्वेश्चन आते थे, हिस्टोरियोग्राफी से नहीं क्वेश्चन आते थे। वो पर्टिकुलर हिस्टोरियन से पूछा करते थे। JNU EE में पर्टिकुलर हिस्टोरियन से क्वेश्चन आया करते थे, ठीक है। JNU EE में पर्टिकुलर हिस्टोरियन से आते थे, DUET में हिस्टोरियोग्राफी से आते थे। बट CUET में हिस्टोरियोग्राफी का कोई लेना देना नहीं है, पर उन्होंने सिलेबस में दे रखा है तो इसलिए हम कवर कर रहे हैं, ठीक है। अब आते हैं मॉडर्न इंडिया हिस्टोरियोग्राफी। लाइक व्हाट इज हिस्टोरियोग्राफी। सबसे पहला पॉइंट, द स्टडी ऑफ हिस्टोरिकल इंटरप्रिटेशन, ठीक है। अब ये स्टडी ऑफ हिस्टोरिकल इंटरप्रिटेशन क्या होता है? कोई इवेंट हुआ, लाइक 1857 ले लेते हैं, या ब्रिटिश कॉन्क्वेस्ट ले लेते हैं। अब ब्रिटिश कॉन्क्वेस्ट है, ठीक है। अब ब्रिटिश कॉन्क्वेस्ट को ब्रिटिशर्स अलग तरीके से देखेंगे, जो इंडियंस हैं वो अलग तरीके से देखेंगे। इंडियंस क्या बोलेंगे कि हाँ भाई ब्रिटिशर्स ने हमें कॉन्कर करा है, विलिंगली कॉन्कर करा है, दैट्स दी थिंग, ओके। हमें विलिंगली कॉन्कर करा गया है, दैट्स दी व्यू पॉइंट ऑफ एनी इंडियन, कि हमें कॉन्कर करा गया और ब्रिटिशर्स ने हमारे ऊपर रूल करा, ठीक है। दैट्स दी व्यू पॉइंट ऑफ एवरी इंडियन। बट ओरिएंटलिस्ट और द ब्रिटिश हिस्टोरियन विच आर देयर, दे हैव सेड दैट वी हैवंट कॉन्कर्ड इंडिया गिवन इटसेल्फ टू अस टू बी रूल्ड, ठीक है। कि हमने अपने आप को दे दिया ब्रिटिशर्स को कि आप हमको आगे रूल करो। दैट वाज द व्यू पॉइंट ऑफ ब्रिटिशर्स। सो दैट्स अ वे दैट अ सिंगल इवेंट कैन बी इंटरप्रेटेड इन मेनी वेज। या तो फिर ऐसा कहा जा सकता है कि दोनों ब्रिटिशर्स और इंडियन के एलिट्स के बीच में समझौता हो गया था कि नहीं, आप हम पर रूल करना चाह रहे हो, कर लो, बस हमारे लिए कुछ कंसेशन दे दो, ठीक है। लाइक टू एलिट्स के बीच में वो हो गया। सो दैट्स ऑल्सो अ व्यू पॉइंट। So that becomes the third viewpoint. Now to analyze this interpretation or to give these interpretation is all about the historiography, ठीक है। इसी को historiography कहते हैं, okay. So the modern history of India can be broadly read under 4 approaches. Very important approaches, नाम याद रख लेना, ठीक है। Colonial, which was also called as the imperialist, nationalist, Marxist and subaltern. Very important. Subaltern is one of the most important schools of historiography, one of the most modern, ठीक है, one of the most recent schools to emerge in the historiography, each with its own distinct characteristics and modes of interpretation, ठीक है। each has its own characteristic and each has its mode of representation. Like imperialist interpret an event in a different term, nationalist interpret it in a different term, Marxist will interpret in a different term, ठीक है। हर स्कूल का अपना एक तरीका है कि इवेंट को इंटरप्रेट करने का। सो वी कम टू द फर्स्ट, कॉलोनियल अप्रोच। लाइक आई हैव गिवन यू एन एग्जांपल, तो उस एग्जांपल से आपको पता लग गया होगा कि ब्रिटिशर्स हैव ऑलवेज सेड दैट वी हैवंट कॉन्कर्ड इंडिया, इंडिया हैज कॉज टू रूल इटसेल्फ थ्रू अस, ओके। इंडिया चाहता था कि हम उसको रूल करें, हमने सिर्फ इसलिए रूल करा है, हम इंडिया को कभी रूल नहीं करना चाहते थे। दैट्स द मेजर आर्गुमेंट ऑफ द ब्रिटिशर्स. So the term colonial approach has been used in 2 senses. Okay, one relates to the history of the colonial country, while the other refers to the works which were influenced by the colonial ideology of domination. Domination second point समझाने के लिए पहला वाला एग्जांपल दे रहा हूं मैं लेक्चर के शुरू से. The works which were influenced by the colonial ideology of domination, like they wanted to, or the white supremacy theory, ठीक है, दैट वी आर दी सुप्रीम, ओके, यू गाइज आर सबऑर्डिनेट टू अस, यू गाइज आर सबऑर्डिनेट टू अस, ठीक है। we got a moral duty to civilize you. You are uncivilized people and we got a duty to civilize you. Okay, that's the colonial ideology of domination. One relates to the history of the colonial countries, like the colonial countries which are colonized by the major colonial powers, to write their history. Okay, the histories of India written by James Mill, one of the most prominent. Mount Stuart Elphinstone, Vincent Smith, and many others are pertinent examples of the colonial historiographical trend. You don't have to remember the name, just remember three names: James Mill, Elphinstone, Vincent Smith. ठीक है. There are certain characteristics which is common to the works of this school or the historians which have worked under this school. ठीक है. Characteristics देखते हैं. Orientalist representation of India, like India is uncivilized. There is lot of malpractices which were in the society, or the caste-ridden society, a society which doesn't respect its women or the lower caste, like the caste distinction. That was the Oriental representation of the India, and the opinion that the British brought unity to India. See, it's a very interesting notion that Britishers have created in Indian minds, that it is the Britishers who have given the idea of nation. ठीक है, इस पर बहुत ज़्यादा डिबेट हुआ है, बहुत ज़्यादा वर्क हुआ है. जब आप मास्टर्स में आओगे, then you get to know about what the idea of India means or what the idea of nation means. The idea of India was there since the times of Mahabharata and Ramayana, the inalienable part of our epic tradition. ठीक है, the whole idea was there of India since the times of epics, and these Britishers have told us that it is us who had brought unity to India. Okay, so it's kind of a fallacy that they have spread. So be aware of this type of opinions, that we are the one who gave you the unity or give you the idea of India. The idea of India was there since the time eternity. Okay. Now the third, the notions of social Darwinism. Now what is social Darwinism? What we have just discussed, white supremacy theory. The Britishers consider themselves superior to the natives and the fittest to rule. Okay. India viewed as a stagnant society which required guidance from the British, white man's burden, which I have told you in the starting of the lecture, that it is our moral duty to civilize you guys, and it is us who are going to told you that how you can be more suitable for the society or how you can progress. ठीक है. Fifth, establishing Pax Britannica to bringing law and order and peace to a bickering society. ठीक है, like all the Britain's rule in the whole land which is covered till now. ठीक है, only then order, law and order and peace could be established. Okay, that's the major view of the Orientalists. So it's a colonial approach for the historiography. I have told you the characteristics, the main historian which belong to this school. Now come to the nationalist approach. Nationalist historiography wasn't there during the nationalist movement. ठीक है, there were leaders who proposed something such as nationalist approach, but nothing kind of the nationalist historiography in truest sense. Okay, historiography in truest sense. There are leaders who are giving the India side of history but not the historiography. Okay, this approach looks at the national movement as a movement of the Indian people. Okay, it looked as the movement of the Indian people. When we are going to discuss the subaltern historiography, I'll told you why I am emphasizing on the Indian people. ठीक है, this approach developed as a response to and in confrontation with the colonial approach. It's obvious that colonial school has given us so much to talk about that nationalist leader had to talk upon it. Okay, so it rise in confrontation with the colonial approach. Should be noted that the nationalist historians of modern India didn't exist before 1947, which I've told you with the starting of this nationalist approach. And before 1947, nationalist historiography mainly dealt with the ancient and medieval periods of Indian history, like the main idea of India. They are discussing the idea of India which was there before the arrival of Britishers. Like their major motive is to their one and major motive is to debunk the myths that were spread by the colonial historiography. Okay, now remember the nationalist leader Dadabhai Naoroji, M.G. Ranade, G.V. Joshi, R.C. Dutt, Ramesh Chandra Dutt, K.T. Telang, Gopal Krishna Gokhale and D.E. Vacha. All the names you must be familiar of. These are the few nationalists who critiqued colonialism for the adverse economic aspects of alien rule. Okay, we all know Dadabhai Naoroji, R.C. Dutt, R.P. Dutt. Okay, how brilliantly they have critiqued the British rule in India. The only accounts of the national movement was by nationalist leaders. See, I have mentioned here nationalist leaders, not historians, because historiography is done by the historians, not by the leaders. ठीक है, was the nationalist leaders such as R.G. Pradhan, A.C. Majumdar, Jawaharlal Nehru and Pattabi Sitaramaiah. R.C. Majumdar and Tarachand are noted nationalist historian of modern India. ठीक है, R.C. Majumdar and Tarachand. Please remember the name of the historian that I have told you just right now. Okay, nationalist approach हो गया. अब आते हैं हम अपने Marxist approach पे. So Marxist approach. Now what is truest with the Marxist approach? Like the economic point of view, like what are the economic consequences which are going on because of the British rule. The beginning of the India was heralded by two classic books, Rajni Pame Dutt's India Today. Please remember the name of the book and the author. ठीक है, R.P. Dutt and A.R. Desai's Social Background of Indian Nationalism. ठीक है, they tend to see the national movement as a structured bourgeois movement, if not the bourgeoisie's movement, and miss its open-ended and all-class character. Now, what is bourgeoisie? Bourgeois is a class which was discussed by Marx. It is basically the middle class. ठीक है, जिसे आज हम middle class के नाम से जानते हैं, और the upper middle class basically. ठीक है, so they tend to see the national movement as a structured bourgeoisie movement. Like they have given it an economic character because it's an economic concept of the bourgeois or the upper middle class. Okay, it's an economic concept which was given by Karl Marx, and if not the bourgeoisie movement, and miss its open-ended and all-class character. That was a drawback of this school, that it had missed the all-class character of the Indian national movement. Okay. A.R. Desai traces the growth of the national movement in 5 phases. Each phase is based on the particular social classes which supported and sustained it. See, that's not how you do the history writing. Like, you are characterizing a single point of history with a single class, and national movement was not like that. In national movement, there was contribution of every class, caste, race, gender. Okay, but they have missed it open-ended and all class character. That's the drawback of Marxist approach. Okay, now come to the subaltern approach. One of the most recent school of historiography and one of the very important school of historiography, because this school brings the voices which have been unheard since the time immemorial of the historiography. Okay, I told you what is the subaltern approach. This school of thought began in the early 1980 under the editorship of Ranjit Guha as critique of the existing historiography. Ranjit Guha, one of the legendary historian, okay, one of the most legendary historians of India, and right from the beginning, subaltern historiography took the position that the entire tradition of Indian historiography had an elitist bias. That's a very huge statement that Ranjit Guha had made, that every historiography took the position which is elitist bias, because history had always been written by the elite class. It had not been written by the suppressed class, and if it has been written, then it hadn't come to the mainstream historiography. Okay, that was the primary motive of the subaltern school, to bring the voices of the unheard which had been from the centuries, not from the years, from the centuries. And they do not subscribe to the Marxist theory of the nature of the exploitation by the nationalist movement. I have told you the drawback of Marxist approach. It has been covered by the subaltern approach, and they point out that the Indian society of the time could not be seen in terms class only, as capitalism in the country was just nascent at the time, because capitalism hasn't been developed as a concept fully in the Indian society at that time, and they believed that the Indian people were never united in a common anti-imperialist struggle, and there was no such as called the Indian national movement. Now there are two terms very important, Indian and national. Now Indian, like what does the Indian consist of? Because there was an elitist bias in the Indian national movement, and does the Indianness consist of only an elite group, elite social group or elite economic group, or what does the term national consist? In national there is no signs of the lower classes, a very less representation of women. That was the main argument of the subaltern approach. Okay, you just have to remember the Ranjit Guha, and they believe that the Indian people were never united in a common anti-imperialist struggle. Now important thing is to anti-imperialist, people were struggling to give freedom to themselves or to get free from the social oppression. Firstly they will free themselves, then only they can thought about freedom of the country na. If they are not free even themselves, then how can they thought about the country's freedom? आप खुद फ्री नहीं हो, आपके खुद के पेट में 2 रोटी नहीं है, आप समाज को 4 रोटी कहाँ से दोगे? आपके खुद का पेट जब खाली होगा तो समाज को 4 रोटी देने की बात कहाँ से करोगे? खुद का पेट तो भरा हो पहले, है ना? So anti-imperialist struggle. Okay. Now come to the communal approach. Now what's the communal approach? The historians of this school viewed Hindus and Muslims as permanent hostile groups whose interests were mutually different and antagonistic to each other. One of the most dangerous school of historiography. It had always created enmity between the various religious groups. In their views, India's medieval history was one long story of Hindu-Muslim conflict, but we all know that it was not like that. It was just a hoax, that it was a Hindu-Muslim conflict, and this ultimately developed the mutual hatred among these groups, often resulting in the communal riots and in the led to the partition of India. This approach had proved very detrimental in the partition of India. Okay, the communal historiography. So that's all in modern Indian historiography, जिसका लेक्चर काफ़ी लोग मांग रहे थे काफ़ी दिन से. ये मॉडर्न इंडियन हिस्टोग्राफी ख़त्म है और अब आपका सारा सिलेबस भी ख़त्म हो चुका है, तो रिवीजन पर ध्यान दीजिए. मॉक टेस्ट के बारे में जो भी इंफॉर्मेशन है वो टेलीग्राम ग्रुप पे मिल जाएगी. सो प्लीज़ ज्वाइन टेलीग्राम ग्रुप एज सून एज पॉसिबल इफ़ यू हैवंट ज्वाइंड इट येट. ओके, एंड दैट्स ऑल फॉर टुडेज लेक्चर. थैंक यू फॉर ज्वाइनिंग.